Well, hello there, and welcome to Melanin Mayhem original story series. Stories that are totally fictional, and that is totally fine because, ooh, they are so good. Amen. Amen. All right, New One Nation, come in for a minute. I need to talk to you. Baby, y'all know if you've been rocking with me, I have been playing around with this original story series trying to figure out what feels right, what hits, and what keeps y'all engaged, and what makes me feel like I'm not about to lose my damn mind trying to do it all at once. And baby, I had a realization. It's team too much giving y'all everything all at the same time. 'Cause you see, at first, I was dropping the story, and then, boom, here go all the endings all at once. And don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not giving what it could give. Because these stories, ooh, they deserve to breathe. They deserve to sit with you for a little bit. You need to be able to argue, roll them around on your tongue, think about it, replay it, and then really decide, what would I have done? So, here's what we're going to do moving forward. We're going to slow this thing down just a little bit, right? And when the new original story drops, you're going to get part one first. Nothing about that has changed. Part one is the setup, the foundation, the drama that I build up to the suspense, right? It's also where everything goes left. And then the endings, well, we're not going to drop those all at once anymore. We're going to get to them one at a time. Each week, an alternate ending will drop, still only available by subscription, though there will be a teaser for each ending on the pod each week. That way, you can sit in it, you can feel it, and you can really look forward to each week to see what else happened. Because let me tell you something right now, every ending that I write could be the ending that does it for you. And some of them, they're going to sit with you a little longer than others. And I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to even lie to you. This helps me too. Because writing one story and 3 endings and a full episode of Melanin Mayhem all in the same week and recording and editing, ooh, child. We talked about this before, remember? About me recognizing and understanding that I am truly a one-woman band and there are limits, or there should be limits to what I undertake. It was the Virgo jumping out at me, biting off more than I can chew. And we're not going to do that no more. I love y'all like collard greens and cornbread, but I like my sanity too. So I also want to fully flesh out my endings because I want to give you more. But the way I'm going now, I find myself toning down my ideas and my thoughts in order to get it all done and out the door at the same time. So this way, I'm going to be able to give you better quality, more detail, more depth, and you all get something new every week. So everybody wins, right? So if you're subscribed, in addition to the stories, y'all know I pop in with other goodies, including video. So just know this, you are not missing anything. You're actually going to get more time with the story, more time with the characters, and more time to really get into the mayhem. And trust me, by the time you get to that last ending, you're going to have an opinion, maybe a strong one. Maybe we need a discussion group for the story series. Nah, y'all not feeling that? Y'all tell me because you know we talk like that, right? Well, okay, let us get into our latest tale from the Melanin Mayhem original story series. What would you do if you were in a situation where telling the truth could destroy your entire life? Today's story is about a woman that told a lie, and the fallout from that lie was huge. It's dusk on a hot, sultry summer night. Shemeka Carter is riding in the passenger seat of a luxury car. She's quiet, kind of distant, not her usual talkative self. She has a lot on her mind, and she is not quite sure how to broach the subject of what's eating at her with the man that's driving. His name is Jeremy Blackwell. He's Shemeka's employer, if you will. The man that arranges things. He's the muscle and the brains. In some circles, he would be called a pimp, but Shemeka doesn't think of him like that. You see, Shemeka is an escort, and she has worked with Jeremy for the last 5 years, and they are on their way to a date that Jeremy has arranged. Shemeka fell into this life quite literally. She was in her freshman year and was at work one day at the sandwich shop that was part of her work study, and a man came in to pick up a catering order, and that man was Jeremy. And as she walked to his car to help him load the trays, he asked her how long she planned to sling sandwiches for a living. And she told him that she was a broke college student. Options were limited, and at least she had a meal every time she clocked in. Jeremy told her that she could be a not broke college student and eat steak and lobster whenever she wanted. When Shemeka asked him how, he explained that he hooked up wealthy men with beautiful women to chill out with. "Oh, you want me to be a prostitute?" Visions of streetwalkers and torn stockings filled her head. "Nah, that's too old school. Escorting is what I'm talking about. You know, arm candy. What you're willing to do behind closed doors is your business. I am merely the middleman, the plug. I know people who want temporary companionship, and they are willing to pay for it. I also know people who don't mind providing companionship for a price. I'm just the bridge bringing the two together." And you get all the money off my companionship too, huh? If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a pimp, and I'm not interested. No worries, little mama. I provide opportunities, not pressure. A pimp takes all and gives little. I just take a 20% consultant fee. The rest is yours. My business is good, my bank account is solid, and my 401k is flush. I just thought I would throw it out there because it's a shame that a beautiful woman such as yourself is not living at your full potential. But let me ask you this. Being social, going to parties, nice restaurants, trips on private planes, that sounds like work to you? That's what my employees do when they clock in. You provide companionship now for free. Why not get paid for it? Because I'm not a hoe. That's good, because I don't deal with hoes. I deal with women that don't mind using what they got to get what they want. You clock in for 8 hours and make sandwiches for what, $10 an hour? When you could kick it for a couple of hours and make a couple of G's? A couple of G's? As in thousands? Yeah. I told you, little mama, this ain't what you think it is. I only deal with people that have assets, and if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. My employees don't leave the house for less than $2,500. Shemeka was torn. She was raised in a religious home, but 2.5 stacks just to kick it sounded real good to her. Jeremy could tell that she was on the fence, so he said, "I tell you what. Why don't you come hang out with me tonight? There's a party and it's a real cool vibe. I can show you better than I can tell you, and you can see with yourself what type of clientele you'll be dealing with, and you can talk to some of my girls. And if you think it's not your thing, then hey, cool, no hard feelings, and you'll be right back at the sandwich shop for your next shift." Shemeka thought about it. What did she have to lose? If it wasn't her scene, she could just leave. Jeremy introduced her to a world that changed her life. It wasn't sordid with creepy-looking dudes and grimy motel rooms. Oh, no. It was 5-star hotel rooms and penthouse views. Men with power and money. And Shemeka jumped in with both feet and didn't look back. She enjoyed her newfound work at first. But now she wanted something more. She had just celebrated her 26th birthday. And she had met someone who had the potential to be the one, but he didn't know about what Shemeka did for her work. He was not the type that would be accepting of the fact that Shemeka was an escort. And while there was a time that she enjoyed the freedom that single life gave her, lately she found herself wanting more, and this man was someone who could possibly give her the life that she craved now. But how to tell Jeremy that she wanted out? That was the problem. Shemeka was one of his top performers. In Pimp's terms, she was his bottom bitch, and he wasn't just going to let her retire without a fight. Anytime she had broached the subject, Jeremy got upset. once to the point of physically grabbing her and letting her know in no uncertain terms that retirement was not an option. The way he said it, the look in his eyes let Shemeka know that getting out of the game was not going to be easy. Jeremy had never put a hand on her. He wasn't the type, she thought. Clearly, she was wrong. As Shemeka stared out the window, seeing nothing, running scenarios in her head of ways to break the news to Jeremy, they pulled into a convenience store. "Go play my numbers, baby." Jeremy was always playing the lottery. Shemeka knew his numbers by heart. As Jeremy sits there, a BMW pulls in. He recognizes it. It belonged to a man that owed Jeremy thousands of dollars for services rendered but unpaid. Shemeka, halfway out the car, pauses for a second. Her eyes flicker towards the BMW, then away. Too quick to mean anything, but long enough to register. Shemeka goes inside the store, leaving Jeremy in the car with the engine running. Tension built behind Jeremy's eyes. He had told that man when he saw him there would be a problem, and here he was. Nobody played with Jeremy's money and got away with it. Jeremy stepped out of the car and walked over to the man's car. The man inside, surprised to see Jeremy, he rolled down his window. "My man Jay, how's it hanging?" "It's hanging in the wind because you still haven't run me my money." "Ah, Jay, you still on that? I told you I got you. "Nah, see, I got you." Jeremy lifted his arm and fired twice into the car, shooting the man in his head. Shemeka was walking out the store when the gunshots rang out. The clerk told her to get down, but she saw Jeremy walking away from that BMW with a gun in his hands. The clerk was dialing 911 as she ran out the door to see what had happened. Jeremy tossed her the keys. "You take the car. I gotta bounce. Just bring it back to the spot later." "Wait, what? What just happened? The clerk is calling the police. Is he dead? Who is he?" The questions were coming out so fast because Shemeka could see the man slumped over in his seat. Jeremy had just shot a man, and now he was cool as a cucumber, while Shemeka felt like she was about to throw up. But Jeremy isn't the type to explain things. He gives you an order, and you follow it. Just then, a jogger passed by. He had earbuds in his ear, and he didn't give a second glance at what was going on over at the store. Just on his run, focused on finishing it. Jeremy looked at Shemeka and says, "If they ask you what you saw a man running that way." Shemeka is stunned, but understands that this isn't a suggestion or a negotiation on what she should say. This was an order. She nods blindly, trying to hold back the tears and the bile that's bubbling up in her stomach. Jeremy tells her, "Don't fuck this up." Shemeka understood exactly what he was saying. Don't put my name in it. Shortly after Jeremy takes off on foot, the police arrive. After talking with the clerk, they find out that the security cameras were broken, so there's no footage of the incident, but there was a witness, Shemeka Carter. The clerk had told the police that she was standing in the doorway, headed out when the shooting happened, and she ran outside. The area is cordoned off and the body is taken away. A detective talks with Shemeka to take her statement. "Miss Carter, can you tell me what you saw?" Shemeka, still reeling from the what the fuckness of it all, doesn't have to pretend that she is shaken up. It feels like she's having an out-of-body experience, but she's got to keep it together, though, and get through the detective's questions as quick as possible so she can get the hell out of here. "I didn't see the shooting. I only saw a man running away," Shemeka says, thinking that the less descriptive she is, the less of a chance of her getting tripped up in a lie, and the less of a chance of somebody getting caught up in this shit. Shemeka's thought was that this would end up being another unsolved murder for the city, because surely by now that guy had finished his run and was long gone. "Can you describe him, Miss Carter?" Not really. I didn't see his face." "What was he wearing?" Shemeka thought to herself about what generic thing she could say, which was actually what the guy had on. A pair of black shorts and a gray t-shirt. Could you tell his height or his weight? I don't know, average height, maybe 180. It all happened so fast. Could you tell his ethnicity? Yeah, he was black. Okay, Miss Carter, here's my card. If you think of anything else, please let me know. You can leave, but we may want you to look at a lineup if we apprehend a suspect. Okay, but I really didn't see his face. Right as Shemeka was getting into the car, the detective runs up and tells her he needs her to look at someone. We picked up a man a couple of blocks away fitting the description that you gave. Can you look at this photo and tell me if this is the man that you saw? Shemeka was speechless. How in the world? There is no way they caught somebody that fast fitting that generic-ass description that she gave. The detective told Shemeka, Miss Carter, that man that was shot, that was Cesar Rodriguez, the president of the city council, and we think that this man is the man that you described. Shemeka's mind reeled. Fuck! City council? That man wasn't just somebody, he was somebody. No way this was going to be left as an unsolved murder. Somebody was going to have to answer for this. And Shemeka knew that because she was the witness, she was going to have to give them something, or they might start looking into her and asking questions she didn't want to answer. And Jeremy could not be linked or associated in any way, shape, or form. And while they weren't asking questions about her and why she was at that store, or if this was her car, she wanted to keep it like that and get the fuck out of here. The detective showed Shemeka his phone, and on it was a picture of a man in handcuffs with black shorts and a gray t-shirt. The same man that had run by the store earlier. Shemeka stared at the screen. Her heart pounded in her chest. Too fast, too loud. The detective kept talking, but his voice sounded distant. We think that this is the man that you described. Shemeka just blinked. Looked closer. Same clothes, same build, a man who had nothing to do with any of this. Her thoughts shifted, just slightly, because in that moment, everything lined up. Jeremy walks, and the police stop looking. And she gets out clean. The pounding in her chest slowed, just enough. The detective's voice came back into focus. Miss Carter. Shemeka looked at him and took a deep breath and said, Yes, that's him. Marcus sat at a metal table, wrists cuffed, eyes fixed on his hands like if he stared hard enough, all of this would make sense. But it didn't. 1 minute he was running, just running, trying to clear his head like he'd done 100 times before. The next minute, sirens, hands on him, his face pressed into the concrete, somebody yelling commands like he couldn't hear them fast enough. And now he was here, in a room that smelled like lies and bad decisions. The door opened. The detective walked in, slow, like he had all the time in the world. Sat a folder down, then he sat down. Didn't say anything at first. Marcus looked up. You got the wrong person. The detective flipped open the folder. Marcus Reed. That's my name. Been here about 3 months. Yes. Convenient. Marcus frowned. What's that supposed to mean? The detective ignored his question. Let's see. Possession, theft, aggravated assault. Marcus's jaw clenched. That was before. Before what? Before I got my life together. The detective looked up and really looked at Marcus and said, People always say that after they've been caught. I'm not people. I got a son. There was silence. That kind of landed, but not the way Marcus needed it to. The detective slid a photo across the table. It was the crime scene, and Marcus flinched. I didn't do that. You were there. I run that route sometimes. So you admit that you were on the scene. Marcus shook his head fast. No, I'm saying that I run. That's it. I didn't shoot anybody. The detective leaned back in his chair, studying Marcus. We've got a witness. Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. A witness to what? Me running? A witness that saw you leaving the crime scene. I was running because I run. That's not a crime. No, the detective said calmly. But murder is. Marcus leaned forward, the chains on the cuff rattling. I didn't kill anybody. The detective didn't react. He just reached for the folder again, pulled out another sheet. Gunshot residue. Marcus blinked. What? You tested positive for gunshot residue. Marcus just stared, then shook his head. No, that was from earlier. Earlier? Yeah, I was out in the woods. It was target practice. The detective's eyebrow lifted slightly. That's convenient. It's the truth. Anybody with you that can corroborate that? Marcus hesitated. And that hesitation, it cost him. No. The detective nodded slowly, like he expected that answer. Of course not. Marcus felt it then. That shift. The walls of the room started closing in. Every answer that he gave was just digging him in deeper. I'm telling you what happened, Marcus said, his voice tight now. I got a son at home. I ain't got time to be playing games with you. I need to go. The detective leaned forward, folded his hands. Your son? Marcus swallowed. Yeah. How old is your son? He's 6. And who's watching him right now? Marcus opened his mouth and then stopped because he didn't have a good answer. Because this wasn't supposed to be happening. The detective saw it. He pressed. Just what I thought. Marcus shook his head. The panic was really creeping in now. No, listen, I didn't do this. You can't just pin this on me because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The detective slid one last photo across the table. It was a photo of Marcus, his face caught on a grainy camera down the street. Mid-run, head turned slightly, but it was him. This you? Marcus stared at it, his chest really rising fast now. Yeah, that's me. The detective nodded, like a box was just checked. Then he stood up. Marcus's head snapped up. Wait, hold on, what? Marcus Reed, the detective said, his voice flat and official now. You are under arrest for the murder of Cesar Rodriguez. Marcus froze, like his body didn't process the words right. What? You have the right to remain silent. No, this is not right. Marcus just shaking his head hard. I didn't kill nobody. You got the wrong. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I got a son, Marcus shouted. I got a son at home waiting for me. The detective didn't stop, didn't react, just kept going. Cold, procedural. You have the right to an attorney. Marcus's voice just dropped. It was barely there now. Please. But it didn't matter, because the system had already decided what he was, and it wasn't innocent. That night, when Shemeka finally made it back to Jeremy's, she sat in the car dumbfounded over what had just transpired. The night had started ordinarily enough, with her and Jeremy on their way to a call, and now Shemeka was caught up in a murder. I can't believe this. Shemeka wanted to throw up. An innocent man was also caught up in this shit. But she didn't have a choice. If she didn't point the finger away from Jeremy, Shemeka's life would be in jeopardy. She knew Jeremy didn't play, but she never had seen with her own eyes just how far he could go. He shot the president of the city council in cold blood, in a matter of minutes, and didn't give two shits. If he could do that to someone like him, what the hell could he do to her? Shemeka opened the glove compartment. She knew Jeremy always kept a bottle of something in there. She opened it and took a big swig, trying to calm her nerves before she went inside to talk to Jeremy. Now she understood what it meant to be between a rock and a hard place. Jeremy was her boss and a ruthless mofo. She had to keep him happy at all costs if she wanted to make it out of this alive. But she didn't want to just get out alive. She wanted to get out altogether. No more escorting, no more dates. But Jeremy was not going to let her go out of the kindness of his heart. Shemeka thought of something that her mother used to say. There is always a way for you to flip things in your favor, baby. Just breathe, look at the big picture, and work the angle they don't see coming. Shemeka sat there, turning the situation over in her mind. Not just what happened, but what it could be turned into. Find the angle. Her breathing slowed. Her shoulders relaxed. Then she smiled. Thanks, Mom. Shemeka let herself into Jeremy's place. It was sleek and modern, a view overlooking the water. So what did the cops say? Did you tell them it was the guy that ran by? Shemeka exhaled. Yeah, I said it was him. Then she waited a beat. Then she said, they caught him too. Really? Jeremy came and stood close to Shemeka. Too close. His eyes seemed to be staring into her soul. And you confirmed it was him? Yeah, really. I thought he would have been long gone, but apparently he was still close by and the cops pulled up on him, and based off the description that I gave, they snatched him up. And when they showed me his picture, I said it was him. Silence stretched between them. Heavy. Jeremy just stared at Shemeka. She couldn't quite tell what he was thinking, but she kept on talking, playing into this bravado that she really didn't feel. Look, I can't have this getting to you, because then all the shit goes left for real. I got you. You told me what time it was and I handled the business. Your name or nothing about you is on any cop radar, and we're going to keep it like that. And yeah, they told me who that guy was, which was the reason they grabbed somebody up so fast. I knew that if I didn't say it was him, they would keep sniffing. They got their head on a stick, and all I have to do is show up and say it was him. We good. I got this. Jeremy turned away, and when he looked back at Shemeka, he was smiling. That's my girl. I knew you had my back. Shemeka let out a breath she didn't even realize she was holding. I'm always going to hold you down. I will take this to my grave. That's on God. He turned, walked over to the bar, started fixing a drink. Ice clinked in the glass. Calm, casual, a little too casual. You want something? I do, but not a drink. Okay, shoot. What you want? After what you did tonight, you can have whatever you want. I hope you mean that, Jay. I want out. The glass paused mid-stir. Not long, just long enough. Then it kept moving again. Out? He repeated. I want to move away from all this and start over. I want a family. I want to use my degree. This was good. I made a good bag. I met some characters along the way. But I want something different now. Not because of what happened tonight, but because it's time, Jeremy. But I don't want you to think that you can't trust me because I meant what I said. If you go down, I go down, and all my business is out there, and I don't want that. Jeremy didn't say anything. He just stood there, stirring his drink. staring at it like it held the secrets of the universe. Jeremy finally turned. He leaned back against the counter, drink in his hand, looking at her like she had just said something that was interesting, not dangerous. You sure about that? I am. There was another pause. Then, okay. Shemeka blinked. Okay. Jeremy took a sip. If that's what you want. Too easy. Way too damn easy. Shemeka searched his face for something. Anger, irritation, anything. But there was nothing there. Just that same calm. If this is really what you want, who am I to stand in your way? I told you long ago that I am not a pimp. I don't keep people against their will. But I do hold people to their word. And if you say you are willing to take it to the grave, then that's fine by me. Because if you speak my name, to the grave you will definitely go. His words hit hard. Message received loud and clear. I am not a monster, but I do expect loyalty. He pushed off the counter and walked towards her again and stopped right in front of her, close enough that she could smell the liquor on his breath. And loyalty don't expire just because you decided you were done. Shemeka didn't move, didn't breathe. I'm loyal, she said. You better be. His voice dropped real soft and real deadly. Because the only thing worse than somebody crossing me, he leaned in slightly, is somebody who thinks they can get away with it. And then just like that, he smiled. Light, easy, like none of that had just happened. Go on then, he said, stepping back. Live your life. Shemeka nodded, but something in her stomach twisted, because this didn't feel like freedom. It felt like a leash, just one she couldn't see. Shemeka was both relieved and terrified at the same time, but the terror she could tamp down a little bit because she would never speak of this shit again to anyone. When she left, she would not be looking back. Thanks, Jay. I really appreciate this. And I told you, I got you. When the president of the city council is murdered, it's a big deal, and that meant the wheels of justice moved fast, though the case against the man that the police had apprehended was weak, circumstantial, and heavily hinged on the eyewitness statement. The prosecution wasted no time and came down hard on the man that was accused. Do you see the man you identified to the police the night of the shooting? Shemeka's hands tightened in her lap. For a second, she didn't answer. The courtroom felt too loud and too quiet at the same time. Papers shifting, somebody coughing, the hum of the air conditioning, and underneath all of it, Marcus Reed sitting there watching her. Miss Carter? The prosecution asked. Shemeka swallowed. Her eyes flicked up just for a second, and then they met his. And he shook his head, a small, almost indiscernible gesture. But the desperation that was conveyed was real, like he already knew, like he was begging her not to do it. Shemeka's chest tightened. Say no. Say you don't know. Say they got the wrong man. Her tongue pressed against the roof of her mouth. Then Jeremy's voice cut through her head clear as day. Don't fuck this up. Yes. The word came out quieter than she had meant for it to. Can you point him out for the court? Her hand didn't move at first. The prosecutor waited. The judge watched. Her fingers trembled, just a little. Marcus Reed leaned forward. That's not me, he said under his breath. You know it's not me. Shemeka's breath quickened. For a split second, she saw it. What would happen if she said no? Questions, more digging, Jeremy, everything unraveling. Then She saw what would happen if she said yes. A clean break, no ties, no looking over her shoulder. Her hand steadied, and then she lifted it, slow, deliberately, and pointed. That's him. Marcus let out a breath like something inside of him had collapsed. The defense attorney was on his feet immediately. Miss Carter, did you see my client's face the night of the shooting? No. So you cannot say with certainty that the man sitting at this table is the man you saw. Shemeka blinked. She could feel the room leaning in. Every word mattered now. I can say, she paused, choosing her words carefully, that the man the police showed me that night was wearing the same clothes as the man I saw running from the scene. That wasn't my question. Her jaw tightened. I didn't see his face. No further questions, Your Honor. Marcus stared at her. Not angry. Not yet. Just confused. Like he was still trying to understand how his life had just been handed over to a stranger. Shemeka looked away first. When Shemeka walked off the stand, she walked out the courtroom and out to her car, which was packed with everything she wanted to take with her into the reinvention of her life. She didn't wait to hear the verdict. Her part in the trial was over, and she didn't want to know anything about what happened next. In her heart, she hoped that the jury would find the defendant innocent because the evidence was thin. In her head, she told herself to move forward and not worry about things she had no control over. Shemeka sat behind the wheel, hands resting on it, staring straight ahead. The city buzzed around her like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. She turned the key. The engine started. And for a second, she just sat there. She turned on the radio. Trial continues tomorrow in the murder of City Council President Cesar Rodriguez. Shemeka's hand shot out and turned it off. Silence filled the car. Her grip tightened on the wheel. A man was sitting in a cell right now because of her. Waiting. Hoping. She exhaled slowly. Shook her head as if to clear the intrusive thoughts. It was more like she was shutting a door in her own mind. Not my problem, she whispered. Then she pulled off and didn't look back, didn't hesitate. Because whatever happened next, she had already made her choice. Woo, child, listen here. This right here, this is when it gets real, honey, because an innocent man is sitting in a cell facing a charge he didn't earn. A man with a past? Sure, but not this past. And the only person who can fix it is the same woman that put him there. Shemeka Carter got exactly what she said she wanted. A clean break, a fresh start, a way out. But what she also did was make a choice. And some choices, they don't go away just because you walk away. They wait. They build. And when they come back, they don't ask. They just take. Now, here's the thing, New One Nation. This story, you know it don't end right here. Not even close, because what happened next depends on the version of the story that you are ready for. Because in ending A, Shemeka is having a great life with a husband and kids. And then the cops come a knocking because a video came out showing the entire shooting. And they know that she lied to protect Jeremy. And her entire sordid past comes out and destroys her life as she knows it. And then we have ending B, where Shemeka never gets married, but gets religious instead and feels like she needs to make things right by getting Jeremy to confess to murder. Ooh, and then we have ending C, darling, where Shemeka is the villain. Oh, yes, she is the mastermind that set up Caesar, Jeremy, and Marcus because she wanted out of the escort life and wanted vengeance against Marcus. But you gotta subscribe to find out why she wanted revenge against Marcus. And remember, We're not dropping everything at once. We're going to do this one at a time, one ending every week. So you can sit with it, you can really feel it, and you can really decide what kind of person Shemeka Carter really is. And baby, trust me, by the time you hit that last ending, you're going to have an opinion, a strong one. So go on ahead and get your subscription on, baby. You can get down with the get down. Go to Melanin Mayhem podcast.supercast.com. That's Melanin Mayhem podcast.supercast.com. Don't forget, there is a fabulous discussion group for the Melanin Mayhem podcast that is on Facebook. Take a look for Melanin Mayhem podcast discussion group. Answer a few questions. We'll let you in. Don't forget to go to the website for all your merchandise needs. That's melaninmayhempodcast.com. All right, guys, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll be back in a week with Ending A. Until we talk again, toodles. Mwah.
Ooh-wee, Nana, you did that.